Let me know when it's on.
Isn't it on?
Oops. Hello, guys. Welcome back. I just started. It beeped at me. Oh,
No, that was mine.
sorry. We just started getting the ground beef going here. I'm going to start putting the peppers and garlic and stuff for the salsa where we're going to dip some of the sopes in. Cook in here.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I'm just getting water, guys, for the peppers here. Please excuse my technical difficulties. I'm going to take my beautiful assistant. Thank you, Rachel.
Ta-da!
And so I just put a little bit of garlic salt on the ground beef and a little bit of black pepper. You can do cumin. I know I've done steak seasoning before, like what is it called, Montreal or something like that. That's pretty good with it too, depending on what you're wanting to flavor it, lime, pepper, and stuff like that. Sorry, I got a few things going on here. So I got the beef going, and now we're going to cook the peppers, the chili pods, the pasilla, and the that I asked you to get yesterday. We're just going to do a few of those in the water. They're going to boil together for, I want to say maybe like 7 to 10 minutes so we can use that sauce. Please let me know if you guys can hear me because I'm sizzling here, so I'm having a hard time hearing myself. 3, 4, 5. So the pasilla, oh, I forgot to show you guys the peppers. The pasilla pods are the ones that look like, I want to say like a big prune. They're really wrinkly, really dark, like burgundy, purplish, black looking. They're my favorite ones. Some of them we use for color, some of them we use for flavor, stuff like that. The other ones that I told you guys to get, they're a little longer, sometimes a little darker, a little redder, depending on where you get them and how I want to say mature they are, I guess, because some people, I know some people that grow their own peppers, so they put them away, they dry them and put them up, and so they'll go orange or green, you know, stay a dried green color or red, or they'll get really dark like this. So I just put the peppers in the water, and we're gonna add some water later. We're going to let them start boiling a little bit. But we're going to add a clove of garlic, 1 tomato, and a little bit of onion. Maybe I want to say like a quarter of the big one. The onion, I like to cut down the middle. It's easier to cut it later. So we'll go down the middle. Cut off I call them the butts, but the ends of them, I don't know what you want to call them. I say butts to everything that's the end of something. Right? Oh, come on, really? Okay. So I'm just going to cut off a piece of each end because I like the middle part better for the cooking. And we're going to throw that in. Oh, see what I mean? We're going to throw that in with the peppers and the garlic. Just give it a quick little stomping, that way it can open up easier, and I just give it a couple of cuts because that way it starts cooking faster. I don't know if everybody knows that garlic's a really good tenderizer, and I use it in most of my cooking, as far as just regular food anyway. And the beef is going to cook really fast. It literally takes a few minutes, so we got to pull it apart here. If you're using chicken, sometimes when I'm really busy and didn't have time to de-thaw or cook something like that, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. I'll just grab a baked chicken from Winco or Safeway or whatever and pull that apart. So I'll do shredded chicken ones. That's perfectly fine. I believe in cutting corners. We're parents. We don't have time to sit here for an hour or two every day cooking. Although it is delicious. So don't feel bad to go get an already cooked chicken, because I'm not going to sit here baking one for 2 or 3 hours just because I want to pull it apart and use it later, you know? So, whatever meat you guys ended up wanting to use, you can start pulling it apart, or just cooking it steak, or however you wanted to do it today. Okay, I'm going to cut a little bit of cilantro. I'm going to cover that up so it can steam really good and cook quicker. Onion, cilantro, and tomato for that ground beef. The easiest way to cut an onion is that long way, the way I cut the butts off. Just keep going. I'm going to move a piece aside because I only need this part. And then just hold it sideways and just go over it with your knife. It cuts it fastest because that's how the layers of the onions are already made. So you can easily dice an onion like incredibly fast. So we're going to throw that in. Tomato. I did garlic salt, so I'm not going to cut up an onion today or mince it and put it in because it already has it. Like I said, cut corners if you can. And quick tomato. I know a lot of people just cut pieces off and dice them like, oh man, I want to say, like from the top you go down in both ways in little squares, and it cuts it. I feel this is faster if you just do long ones and just go kind of throw your knife through it, and you could just dice it faster. To me it's faster anyway. I don't know about you guys. I'm really excited about tonight's dinner because this is one of Gummy Bear's favorites, and my husband's too. They'll just about take sopes over anything. Oh, the cilantro. Hello. I knew I was missing something here. I got all kinds of spinach and lettuce flying towards me. Okay, so here's cilantro. I just grab a little handful, whatever you can grab with 3 or 4 fingers. Just pull it off. I'm going to give it a quick rinse, okay guys? This is what gives it the flavor for the meat when it's cooking. Now, this is one thing I've noticed a lot of people when I go to, anywhere, they kind of pull all the leaves off of the cilantro. Don't do that, guys. That's where all the flavor is. I put them really close together and just, just throw the knife through it. It just cuts them up really quick. They don't have to be perfect. They're going to wilt and let all that flavor out anyway into the pan. So as long as you, get it smaller than a big old piece that you're going to choke yourself like lettuce or something. So just really fast is fine. You don't have to be perfect. Oh, you can already smell that. So yummy. I love the smell of cooked onion with the meat, with the cilantro, everything all together. And so depending on how you like your meat, I like it if it's beef, as long as it's not bloody anymore and you can't see any pinks or anything like that. To me, it's good to go. So I'm going to leave it like this because later, when I actually assemble them, I'm going to give it a quick warm-up. So that part's done. We're going to start on the rice. It's going to take the quickest to cook, and it really doesn't take that long anyway. See, those peppers are already softening up. We stuck them in there. I forgot to put a little bit of salt and pepper in there. It's not too late. You can even do it when you blend them anyway, so it really doesn't matter. I would say maybe like a quarter of a teaspoon of black pepper, and maybe a half a teaspoon, that's less, about a half a teaspoon of salt. I got a little bit on the floor. I know that's weird. The super stupid. Alright. So for the rice, I already stuck a chicken bouillon, or what do you call them, chicken flavoring, in the blender. When I cook chicken, I actually use a chicken stock, or I know it also comes canned or in a like a plastic or paper bin or can, I don't know what you call it. that you can just get it at the store like that. And that's my favorite to use because it has the most flavor because it comes straight from the chicken. And I know that we're going to blend this anyway, but for some reason I have the habit of popping it up before I throw it in there. Just a quick little, the tomato and onions. So what's going in the rice, I put some oil in the pan and I'm starting to warm it up already. And so while that's warming up, I put a tomato and a half in the blender, the chicken flavoring, I want to say a quarter or just a little less of a quarter of an onion. And that gives it the flavoring too. I feel like I threw something else in there. Oh yeah, the garlic. One garlic clove. And then a pinch of cumin. I don't use too much of it. I feel like sometimes the smell, the taste is overwhelming for me. I do like cumin, but not in excessive amounts. Okay, so the oil is ready. It's starting to smoke up a little bit, and that's okay. You just don't want it to smoke up all the way. Now, you want to throw, I want to say maybe like, I'm eyeing this. That's about 2 cups of rice. And so, in that hot oil, the oil I want to say maybe was probably like 3 tablespoons. You're going to fry the rice basically until it's golden brown. So we're going to sit here randomly moving it back and forth. So back to where the rice was. Oh, a little bit of oregano. I use a lot of oregano, so I buy these in bulk. Probably just like half of a teaspoon because that's going to go into the rice. Cilantro, cebolla, jitomate. I'm trying to figure out and make sure I got everything in there. Okay, now I'm just going to throw some water in here, a little bit of black pepper, and throw it in the blender. So give me a second while I throw that in the, get some water in there. And black pepper, again, depending on how much you like it. We use a lot of black pepper around here. But I want to eyeball it and say maybe like from a quarter to half a teaspoon of black pepper. I don't know where my lid is. Oh, just kidding. And I know a lot of people don't like cilantro or oregano, stuff like that. You can always use parsley. Why not? It's an herb. If you like the flavor, the taste, you know how everything goes together, and go for it. I'm not an herb hater. I like them all. Wait, that sounded funny. Oh god. Okay.
How much water did you put in the blender?
I want to say I did maybe about 3.5 to 4 cups. It really doesn't matter because we are going to, so we put about 2 cups of rice in there and we're going to 3 times the water. So like 6 cups of water. So after I blend this and we put it in, I'll show you here in a minute, we're going to add more water. I'll try to measure it for you guys or, you know, in my head. But again, I've been doing this for so long that I kind of automatically just eyeball it. So these peppers are nice and soft. Those are going to go in the blender as soon as I'm done using it for the rice as well, by the way. Nice, I like it. I'm going to put more water in that now that it cooled. Quit spilling on me here. Okay. You can see the rice go from that clear iridescent kind of to like a white base color. And you want to keep going. You want to keep going until it's golden brown. So right now we're probably halfway through toasting it, or what do you call that? Browning the rice?
Yeah.
I said toasting it. Just the way it sounds in Spanish. Or maybe me and my crazy head, I'm just like, find a quick word. Okay, so give me a moment while I blend that really quick because I'm going to need it hot here soon. You almost don't want to let go of mixing the rice too much. Like you want to keep mixing it. Don't leave it alone too long because it can burn really quickly. Well, also depends on how low you have the temperature. I'm a quick cook, so I put it like medium-high all the time. So excuse me. stuff is ready. I'm going to grab my 2 cans of beans and open them up. Again, with the shortcuts, it's awesome. I like to get the stuff that's in just regular water, no salt added, or at least a low sodium, because then that way you can taste the beans, and if they're good, you don't have to add salt, but if they're not, you can add a little bit for flavoring, because sometimes, you know, you get the flavory ones, like, they actually put, like, chicken stock in them, or, what is it called, brown sugar, honey, stuff like that, and you don't want none of that. You want just the regular, cooked beans. I'm using black beans today just because those are my favorite to use when I'm making sopes. When I make them at home when I'm cooking, it's the pinto beans, the Texan pinto beans. My daddy used to grow beans, so we're like, and then I'm Mexican, so I'm a pretty good expert at beans. There we go. Okay. I'm a cheap lady. I use the Winkle brand. It's good for my itty-bitty little family on a budget. I was going grocery shopping the other day, and I noticed that the regular black beans that are like a different brand, they were like $2 a can, and I was like, are you kidding me? These are like 58 cents a can, and I'm like, I told my husband, because he always grabs the other ones, because he's like, honey, that's a good brand, and blah, blah. I'm like, they're beans. They're canned. If you're using canned beans, you might as well go with the cheap one, because they're canned anyway. Okay, those peppers are soft enough. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off so they can just... Maybe I should keep it on and I can leave those that way. That way I can show you guys easier too. Yeah, we'll do that. So when I put the liquid in the rice, don't be scared. It's kind of like bubble sizzle. It's going to be a lot of aromatic, a lot of smoke coming up. I swear that's normal, okay? Because you're putting a cold liquid in a hot pot, and so it's going to happen. I always tell people when they ask me, because people always ask, how do you make your rice so good? I'm like, well, I give them my recipe, and they're like, I tell them it's gonna smoke, so when you throw the liquid in, kind of move back a little bit and be careful that your face isn't on there, or hands or anything near that you can burn off, because you could. It's you know, really hot. And when they make it, they always send me back a message, or the next day, wherever. Oh my gosh, when I threw the you know, the liquid in and it sizzled the way you said, and I jumped back, I was like, it's going very well. Because that was supposed to happen. Okay, so now you can even smell the cooking rice here. It kind of smells like butter, like corn, like popcorn. I don't know how to explain it. It has that certain smell because there's the oil in with the rice. Okay, so this is where you're gonna see this, like golden brown. It's not quite white or beige, and it's not brown in between. That's when you want to go for it. So we're gonna throw this in here really quick, please excuse me. And once the smoke clears, give it a quick mix. That way you get all the rice wet, because you don't want something to get stuck to the pan and then it can burn, because we only put just a couple cups in. And now my thing is usually about till the inch of the top of your pot. If you're using a really big pot, we did 2 cups of rice. I want to say maybe 6 cups of water in total altogether. So I'm going back for more water. I kind of want like the Jeopardy theme or something, you know? Dun, 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 dun. Wait, is that the right one? Okay. I'm going to throw the rest of the water in. And then from this point, you can do a little bit more water. I'm going to leave it for a minute and let it boil and see how it goes. Because you can always add water here within the next 10 minutes of it boiling. Right now, this is where you can gauge the flavor, whether it needs more salt or pepper or something you might like. once I mix it after I stuck the blender full of water, I like to just taste the broth a bit. That's perfect. Okay. I'm gonna wash my hands. I licked my hands in front of y'all. That's all I'm licking though, people. Okay. Sorry. I know. For the people that do know me, y'all know that's my personality, and I'm like that naturally. So, okay, so I'm gonna put that one in the back and go ahead and cover it up so I can let it start boiling really quickly. And that's gonna boil about 10 minutes, and in between we are going to mix it just once. It's really important that you don't touch the rice very much to get perfect Mexican rice. The reason for that is if you mix it, you keep mixing it, it kind of turns to mush, and it's like, it's not even like sticky rice, it's like you're giving them oatmeal at that point, you know. So you definitely want to make sure you don't touch the rice too much. So now the blender, since it was just veggies and stock that we put in, which we're going to be needing for anyway for the salsa part of it, I'm just going to go ahead and throw in the peppers and garlic and onion tomato mix that we did for the sopes that we can put in later. I'm going to actually add a little bit of water because it looks a little too dry, because we're going to need it to boil here in a bit. Maybe like a half a cup of water on top of the water that you had from the hot pot. And then let's go ahead and blend that one. And then we'll taste it to see how the flavor with the salt came through. I don't have to hold it down. It's a force of habit. Like, I gotta tell you guys a story. Okay, this is almost like the enchilada sauce that I make, the tamal sauce I make, almost. There's a few differences that people are always, give me your recipe. This is how I do it, guys. Pay attention. Okay, so I'm putting that back in the itty bitty pot that it was in, because that's all I'm going to need for the sopes. Now we can rinse this off. I like to rinse it as soon as I use it because, oh, go ahead and taste it. Yeah, it's giving me a little bit of salt. I like to rinse it off because then that way it doesn't stick, because all this stuff sticks really well. Maybe a quarter of a teaspoon more. Let me rinse this off really quick. And we're going to boil it and mix it here in a little bit anyway. Okay. So right now in the other pot that I put on that was warming up here is the cochino, is the for the beans. Now for the beans we're gonna use, I like to use regular vegetable oil. Growing up we did lard, like bacon fat. It is the best flavor, and I swear, but it is not good for the fluff, you know. So we're doing 2 cans. I want to say again about 3 tablespoons of oil. You can use olive oil, you can use vegetable, canola, whatever you like. And here we go with our onion again, cutting the butts off. Right here, I'm going to try to cut it as fine as I can. Sorry, thanks babe. The reason for that is because I'm going to fry the onion and it's going to turn itty bitty, so you don't have to pull it out of the pan. There was tomato juice on here. Maybe I'll just take that off a little bit because, I mean, it's a vegetable, but still. Because I cut it so fine that you don't have to sit there and take it out. And I love the flavoring that it gives the beans. So about a quarter of an onion. And I just cut it really fine. And then we're just going to, again, sideways and just go through it really quick. Okay. So at that point, it's probably hot over here. I always let it smoke an itty bitty bit because that way you know it's hot. You can also test it like I did with the chile rellenos. Just get a little piece of onion and, ooh, it's ready. Okay. Where's my good snack? Oh. So I was going to tell you guys a funny story about the blender. When my husband and I first got together, we had been dating maybe about a year and a half. So we were pregnant by then. I was probably about 4.5 months pregnant. And most people know he's a logger, but if you don't know, he's a logger. So his phone wouldn't work up the mountain, so he would call me every single time that they came off the mountain, because it still took them 1.5 hours to 2 hours to get home. That way I could start cooking and have a hot meal ready for him, since I was staying at home. And so I was like, okay, so I started making dinner that night. And that's what I was telling you guys. I was going to tell you guys a story about the blender. I was making a hot salsa, which we're going to make today. And I roasted the peppers, or grilled them, or on the comal. And I stuck them in the blender with salt and everything to make the salsa for the top of whatever I was making. And the little itty bitty top of the lid, I don't know, most people know it comes off. It fell in, so it exploded. It exploded everywhere. It looked like a murder scene because, you know, the salsa's red. And I just, I wasn't feeling so good. Most people know, but I had a really hard pregnancy, and I didn't know that the pain I was having wasn't normal at that point. And it wasn't normal. I was really sick. But anyways, it exploded everywhere. Okay, guys, go ahead and give your rice a little mix here. It's been boiling for about 5 minutes or maybe a little bit more. So you give it a good mix, and now you want to leave it open. We're going to leave it open for about 7 to 10 minutes so it can lose some of that liquid and it'll start drying up here, and it's cooking in the process. So the onion is almost completely brown, and I'm going to move it aside for a minute so I can open up the beans and drain them so I can throw them in so you can start frying or refrying or whatever. But anyways, so yeah, it exploded everywhere, and so I start crying, and maybe about 10 minutes down the me crying, Esteban gets home, and he thought something had happened because, you know, I was crying and I was on the floor, and as he starts hugging me, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, what happened? He thought something was wrong with the baby. I'm like, I exploded your kitchen. And as he's hugging me, he's looking around like, well, how'd you get it up there? And I was just like, I was in tears. I was distraught. And here he was just wondering how the hell I got it on the ceiling. Girl, at the top of everything. At the top of the, you know, the stove, all the counters that were beside it. The kitchen, you know, most people know the story kitchen that I had was like half the size of this kitchen. You could only fit 2 people in there, and you were bumping butts, right? And, girl, and he just, it's okay, honey, get ready, we'll go out to dinner, don't worry about it, you know, like, he was really so sweet about it. But it was just that main, why, how'd you get it up there was the part that was just crazy. Anyways, that's what the blender reminded me of. So I think that's why I always grab the top of the blender, the lid. That's where the story was going. Okay, so I drained the beans and I threw them in with the oil. You can hear it popping a little bit. I'm going to taste one bean just because I want to make sure it has enough salt, because you know some of them are low sodium. I'm not scared of salt, obviously. Yeah, see, that needs a little bit. My husband, for some weird reason, maybe it's because he can't read in English, always gets the low sodium stuff. Or maybe he's trying to say something to me without letting me know for reals. I mean, he told me he loves to hold on to all the fluff, but come on, buddy, you know? We're just gonna let it go. We'll leave it right there. Okay, so the beans are gonna go, and they're gonna sit there and dry up the rest of the liquid that was thrown in there, and they're gonna be cooking. I just thought about something. I could have started on the pepper right now to grill them really quick, but I'm gonna have to move some. I'm probably gonna have to move the beans because my beautiful stove tuckered out on me, and only 2 of them are working right now. Come on, sweetie, send something over. Or what are the stove brands? Anyways, let's go ahead and get garlic. And I like to cut these really thin because they cook faster on the grill. I'm going to use a comal. What the heck is a comal in English? A pan? I don't know. I'm going to move these beans off real quick. With the heat, they'll probably dry up that liquid anyway. Because I want to make that hot salsa for the top of the sopes. If you guys have any questions, or if I skip something, or you guys are like, what the heck are you talking about? Leave me a message so Rachel can read it and I can go over it with you again. Or if you missed something. This is going to be really yummy. Okay, so I cut the garlic in about 4 or 5, you know. They're not very thick, but they're not very thin either. Enough for you to be able to flip them once they're on there. I like to get a handful of the chile japoneses that I said. These are the hot ones, or chile de árbol, whatever you have. The red hot. My dad used to call them rat tails in Spanish. I don't know why, because to me rat tails are bigger than that. I've seen them. Okay. And so, but anyways, we're gonna go grill these. So I'm gonna leave that up high. This is a quick process. You can use a spatula if you want, or tongs, or whatever. I just use my hands and just move them around. They burn really quickly, and these are the ones that if you ever had a grandmother or mother that cooked, and she kind of smoked you out on a Saturday morning, you came out running down the stairs, you know, coughing your guts out, those are the ones that we're using.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'll be really careful, I promise. Okay, I'm going to stick this spoon in the rice and just move it aside. What I was looking at is that texture of the rice that you know it's cooking properly. It's starting to look a little iridescent. It's starting to open up a little bit. So I'd say that's been boiling about 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and cover it up again. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn it to between 6 and 7, which is like medium, in between medium, a notch over from medium. And we'll leave it like that another 5 to 7 minutes. And then we're going to go ahead and put it on low for the rest of the cooking time. And that's going to give you that really perfect fluffy rice that that you get at your favorite Mexican restaurant, real Mexican restaurant. I can feel the peppers already starting to come up my nose. So at this point, this is where I would turn it off because just the heat of the comal is going to finish them off. So I'm going to move that. Well, I guess I wouldn't turn it off because I need it for the beans. But, so I'm going to just move it and finish kind of roasting them on this side. I already turned... Look at this mess. It's the 2:30 alarm. And this is kind of what you're looking for. Ha! So they're dark brown, almost black. If you get them black and burn them, no problem, they're still good. As long as the majority of them are that pretty brown color. And that's what you're looking for that hot salsa. My mom used to call it un chile bruto. So it's really like strong. It's only hot pepper and garlic and salt. That's it. And then you put it in the blender for a couple of minutes, and that's going to be that perfect. Oh, for my cousins and friends and family that have come over that ask me, how do you make that hot sauce? You should, girl, you should bottle that shit. Stuff, sorry. I'm like, I know, but that's how I make it. Okay, so the beans are getting dried up here. This is probably why some of my stove tops aren't working, because my husband smashes them on the stove. I just got a little bit of muscle, as y'all can see. So I put it on top of the sink so I won't kill the rest of my remaining burners, okay? So excuse me a minute. Girl, smash that. Alright. So I smashed the bejesus out of those poor beans. So now that's what you typically see, your refried beans. I'm going to let them finish. I don't want to say cooking because they're already cooked. But because I did smash them, I'm going to let them go just for like another minute. And then I'll turn this off because I think that's all the cooking I have for now. Because we're going to make the masa next. Okay, see? And that's what you want to see. I had a really good friend of mine, hi Karina, teach me a little trick. If you put an itty bitty bit of, for the people that are okay with it, just like a little teaspoon of milk in it, it makes them lighter. I don't mind the dark, so I'm just going to leave them like that. But definitely it's pretty cool, because I know that a lot of people are skittish about eating darker beans. I don't know why. Maybe they think they're older? I don't know. Okay, so my peppers are still hot. Please be careful with the pans. Again, don't touch things without putting something on your hands. I've been doing this for many years. I'm okay with it. You'll probably burn the living heck out of your fingers, so be careful. I'm going to rinse this really quick because I need that for the sopes, for the masa. I'm going to put about 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt in the blender and about 2/3 of a cup to a cup of water and blend it, okay? Excuse me again. Okay, so that should be good enough. I'm just going to let it hang out there because if I open it, it's going to choke us here in a minute. So the little pan that I just put on the stove is that red salsa that we had cooked in the little pot and that we blended. I want to warm it up really quick so it can be ready to go when we're done making the sopes. So while that boils a little bit, it's already starting to, I guess it was still hot. We're going to make our masa real quick. Oh yeah, that's ready. Okay, I'm just going to move that off. And the rice, let me show you how pretty that looks. So now we're going to move it all the way to the bottom. You see it's still bubbling a little bit, but it's also taking that shape of the pan. It's not swimming around anymore. So that's what you want to see when you open it up that last time. We're not going to open it up anymore until we're going to check that it's completely done. This is where you want to put it between 1 and 2. If you're going to go take a potty break and wash your hands, or, you know, go change the baby, or do what you got to do really quick. A quick 5-minute phone call, you know, husband, how far away are you? Are you almost here to have dinner, or whatever. Your best friend, you know, don't forget the wine on the way, or whatever. This is the best time to do it because you have about 5 to 7 more minutes before the rice is completely done. So I'm going to put that pan that we just rinsed off on the stove. It's going to start warming up. I'm going to put it down to medium-high in between because I want it hot but not too hot for the sopa, for the masa. I'm gonna grab the masa in a pan. Oh yeah, I need a what do you call it? A mixing bowl. Okay. So the one that I put on there for you guys yesterday is the one that we typically use, but my husband grabbed this one this time, and it's good. To me, it tastes the same. It's good. So whatever you like, it's as long as it's like gluten-free cornmeal, corn masa flour, I believe is what they call it. And we're just gonna throw in a big mixing bowl. I'm just gonna do the rest of it. That's about, I want to say about 3.5 to 4 cups. Here, I just make a little hole in the middle. And then I'm going to start pouring water in. I'm literally just going to go around like you would a mixer. You want to do cold water, or at least lukewarm water with it. Because if you do hot water, really warm water, it's going to make it stick really bad. And it gets really sticky, gummy almost. So this is cold water that you're going to do. And I don't know the mixture for this. This is about 2.5 cups that I just poured in. So I'm just going to go around and around and around. And you can kind of feel, it starts feeling like Play-Doh. And then you can start smashing. I washed my hands, I swear. Bring it up and just smash it down like you would play with Play-Doh, or just the consistency, the closest I can have to masa, is that Play-Doh feeling. So it's getting a little dry here. It's a little hard, so I'm going to add some more water. And you want to start doing it less and less water at a time. That way you can get the exact feeling that you want. You can put 2 hands in if you want. That pan's almost ready to go. I got a little trick for you guys too. So I was making tamales here a few weeks ago, and I have a little trick that I've been doing since I can remember, for many years, because I was really one of the only ones that cooked in my house, and I had to cook for a lot. I have 7 brothers, and then, you know, all our family and whatnot, that I started taking shortcuts. So I started doing my tamales with the tortilladora. It's easier to smash them down, and I do my sopes like that too. I'll show you guys here in a minute. So a couple weeks ago when I was making tamales, my friend's like, "Oh my gosh, did you see that video where they started doing the tamales with the smasher? Is that where you got it from?" And I'm like, "Girl, I've been making tamales since before you were born." So that was really cool. I looked it up and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." So that's great. That's the quickest way to make it, especially like I said, most of us have big families and we're trying to take shortcuts. We don't want to stay in the kitchen all day. Sorry if I'm giving you boob shots. I didn't think about that. I looked down and it's like, pachow! So, girl, the cracks in my cracks are sweating here. Okay, so it's getting softer how I want it to be. So I added just a little bit more water because it still sucks it up a little bit. And I'm just going to leave it there for a minute. This got hot really quick, so I'm going to move it off the stove for a bit. I don't want to burn the pan. I'm going to wash my hands and come back to start the sopes. Woo. Yes, yes, we hear you, we hear you. I dropped a little bit of water in my pan and it's like sizzle. Okay, so give it about 30 seconds to a minute to suck up a little bit more. And you're just gonna, again, mix it and squish it, mix it and squish it. So yeah, so that Play-Doh consistency, you wanna go, it feels like that. Very pliable, very, very easy to move. Our older generations are badass and can just sit here and make them like this. I will sit here for like 2 minutes on each one, no joke. See? So, I'm going to show you the way I do them really quick. So I get my tortilla smasher, and when I didn't have one, when my husband and I first got together when we were dating, he didn't have one at his house. So what I did was I would cut out those rounds of the plastic so they don't stick, and I would squish a plate on top. So get creative if you don't have one, you know? So you just get that little ball. Oh, I want to see it's a measurement. Like if you were to close your hands on your palm, from your hand to the other side, you want to make sure it fits in there snug. So you don't want no air in between. See? Made a little bit of an indent. Squish it in. For tortillas, you go all the way down and smash them in big circles. For sopes, you don't, because you want them to be a little thicker, and we're going to bring up the edges when they're done. So I just squish them a little bit till it feels comfortable. My tortilladora, because it's been used so darn much, does it a little lopsided. So I just go in there and smash it with my hands on the side to even them out. And then you just bring it up, and you got that little sope. I usually fit about 5 to 6 on one pan. Sometimes I'll go with 2 pans, but again, because my stove is not working, Manji, you want to, oh, I forgot what I was saying. Dang it! I'm glad you guys know I'm a diss, because otherwise, you guys would be like, what is she talking about? Okay. So I'm just going to do a few, and then go ahead, do them all, and then be done with the video, and then finish up for dinner for my family, because I also don't want to keep you guys forever sitting here making, like, you know, 15 of these or whatever. So I'm just going to go ahead and do about 4 of these. That way you can take them home. And they usually take about 2-3 minutes per side. That's totally normal, and it's okay. If they look like they're wanting to burn, they're starting to look a little translucent, I would suggest you flip them. My test is you can also touch them and they'll come up. If they come up, you can flip them. You see how that side is all like that one color kind of cooked? With these, you want to flip them just twice. So this is the first time we're flipping them. And again, if you can't handle the heat, don't touch it. Stay out of the kitchen. But we flipped those. I'm gonna let that one give it another minute because that's the last one I put on. But that's the kind of the temperature you want. I'm gonna actually bring it up a little wee bit. The temperature that you want. enough salt in here. My husband usually does this because although I can make a badass salsa, guys, I'm not the one to take it. It's kind of... That's good. Oh! Okay, so salsa's ready. Okay, so now we're flipping these. You've got the little darker shades coming up on the other side. I'm going to turn it down a little bit more because it started wanting to burn those edges, or the parts that were coming up. So turn it down just to finish them off. We're going to toast them a little bit here anyway. I'm going to mix that one that had the salsa and the pepper. People do them two different ways. I've done them like this where you dip the sopa in the salsa. And I've also done them where you don't dip it in the salsa. My gummy bear's not a spicy guy, so I do his regular and mine too. But my husband really likes the dip one. It's the same stuff that we use for the, what do they call them? I made them the other night, like 2 nights ago for my husband. Bombazos or something like that. Bombazos? They're like a torta, but dipped in the sauce, and then you fry them in oil. They are amazing. Okay, so, oh, these are beautiful. So if it started to, pull up a little bit, it's a little fluffy like me now, which is good. That's what you want. And then this is what they look like underneath. So you got both your sides. The backs are the parts that are up now when you flip it that second time. So I call that the back. My mom used to call it the back. So I went off the front. So I put that leaf. This part, I apologize. You can try to use a spoon if you want, or you can wait for them to... I don't recommend you wait, actually, because they get stiff and then you can't... They're not pliable anymore. So do this when they're hot. Here. Grab a spoon, get the edge of it, put your finger on it, go in a little bit, push it down a little bit, not all the way down because you will cut the sopa, and just bring it up to the edge. You see that? On both sides? You're kind of making a little pool. So you can do it that way. You can just be badass like me and go in there with your fingers. Not really badass. I just done it for so long. I swear people that don't know me are going to look at this and be like, she's got a potty mouth. That's okay. It's fine with it. My son, sometimes when I'm cooking and he hears the first word, he's like, God, Mama said a naughty word. I'm like, he knows who the higher power is. And then when he does stuff naughty, like, to pick up his room or does something I need him to do, I'm like, God, Esteban won't listen. He's like, I got it, Mom, I got it. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm going to put the meat on really quick so we can warm it up. I'm going to cut the rice really quick. So I want that warmed up because I'm going to fry them. And then I'm going to put the meat in, so then they can eat right away. So you can prep all this stuff, have the sopas ready, have all the everything ready, and then you can just warm everything up to assemble them if you need to. Oh my gosh. Okay. And here is our perfect fluffy rice. You can smell it. And that's what you want it to look like. Oh, hi. My cuddle bug just woke up. Get a nap. So you can just take it off, cover it up, and leave it. That's your perfect little rice right there. Hold on, Cuddlebug. I gotta get my baby. Give me a second. Oh, come on, Tweet Tweet. Come on, Tweet Tweet. Want to say hi to people? We're lucky we got 2 done. I can do the rest with 1 hand. Ouch! Okay, so. Oh, bless you. We don't want that on our food. Did you have a good nap? Everybody, this is my Gabriel Constantine. Want some water or something? Huh? Mom life. We're doing this cooking show in between nap breaks, by the way. It's the only way we're able to do this, right, Rachel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the rice is done, the beans are done, they're hot because we just did those. Both of our different salsas are done. I'll get the sour cream and cheese here in a minute. The meat's getting warmed up here really quick. The sopes are smashed. It sounds like a lot of work, guys, seriously, and I talk a lot, but really it's not that bad. If you give yourself an hour for it, I think you should be fine. Plus they're delicious, and once a week it's not that bad, you know. I know, I always see stuff on the internet. I'm gonna put them in this high chair. How, people are shaming little girls and moms about not cooking every night. And it's like, we got tons of single moms out there, yo, that can't cook every night because they have to work to be able to provide for their children, you know? And so, let alone have time to cook every night, you know? Let alone have time to teach their daughters how to cook. And I think that we need to give each other that empowerment to say, hey, you know, you can do this. Give yourself a little bit of time. For me, this is my me time. I love to cook. It relaxes me. Y'all know I could talk forever. I'm like a little parrot. Right, baby? Okay, so I grabbed my cotija cheese, which is the one I'm going to use for the top. I put the pan back on. Let me get closer to you. You want to go? Okay. There you go. I should give him a little bit of beans. He loves beans. Sorry for the technical difficulties, y'all.
You're gonna give him beans and he's gonna slap him in my face.
Girl, no, he loves beans. Girl, he loves beans. Okay, so this pan's getting a little hot. And this is where we're gonna start dipping. So you grab your sope, right? And you get your oil out. I should probably put it in a little plate. This is gonna be a little... Oh, there we go. A Tupperware works too. So that pan's hot. We're gonna dip both sides in that salsa, that one that we did, the one that's not spicy, the one with the big peppers. And we're gonna dip in that sope. Okay? Take it out, shake it off, and put the top of it, so not the back, but the top of it in oil first, and then the back, so you can put the back down. You hear that sizzle? Okay? So it's gonna go, let's do one more of these, and then we'll do the other two naked, or without salsa.
Naked.
Can I use words like that?
Yes.
I mean, I've been using every other word anyway. No? Gabriel says no! My bad, bro. Okay, so get that oil in there. Upside down. It's nice and thick. It almost feels like a mole. There we go. That's nice. The reason I put the back down first and not the top where it's up at is because I want that mole to kind of stick on the outside and the inside while it's cooking a little bit. So when we flip it and cook that side, it's going to be it's going to stick a little easier. So we got the ones with the salsa in there. Now I know there's a little bit of mole in here, but it's not that bad. So I'm just gonna dip the bottom. So this one we just do only the bottom when you're not gonna dip it in salsa, which is what I do for the kids. Or when I don't want to make a mole, and I'll just give them that. My husband like that. They're good like that too. You don't have to do it all fancy, you know. And so right here, for the ones that don't have salsa mole, this is where I start filling them up. I just put a little teaspoon of beans inside and kind of smash them around. And that'll keep them warm longer too. So, you're fine, puppy. And you can cover the bottom, you know, you can kind of figure out if you need more or not, but that's fine. And then here's what you want to do: your shredded chicken, your beef, whatever, your carne asada, pastor. whatever meat you're doing, and just put a little, probably about a tablespoon up top. If you like them with more meat, go for it, that's fine. Now, here's when you want to grab a spatula because of the sauce. So, I'm going to go ahead and flip the ones that have mole on them. And they're going to get a little darker. Tweet, tweet. He's like, Mom, you were supposed to do this with me on your side, remember? I swear these kids, they catch everything on earth. He was okay yesterday and this morning. Last night, he'd kind of wake up every like 30-40 minutes and was like, and I was like, I think I have a ghost in my house. But then I figured out it was him, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just kidding, sweetie. I'm just messing with you. So he woke up and he's got a little cough again, you know. I'm sure it'll go away soon. He's a good healer here. I grabbed a little bit of lettuce right now, and we're just gonna chop that finely or however you want, really. And that's just gonna garnish on top. This is where you could have cut the what do you call it? Avocado or whatever. Yeah, puppy. You want to grab the sour cream? We already pulled the cheese out that we're going to use. I sometimes use a Tillamook cheddar for my 6-year-old. Okay. Come on. If you hadn't already noticed, the boys love to cook with me. Okay, so the bottom started browning a little bit. I eat them a little softer for obvious reasons. Some people like them really crunchy. You can leave them in there longer, but you just want to make sure that all that oil, you know, went ahead and absorbed or went to the side or it was used. So I went ahead and flipped the ones that had the sauce in, and now we can go ahead and fill those up with the beans and the meat. Oops. I might have overdone that one. Okay, so the base is beans, meat, whatever meat you're doing, and then you can garnish with whatever you want. So I like to do the lettuce as a base, right? And then you put a little bit of onions and tomato on top. If you don't like onion or tomato, you can go without it. You don't have to. I just like to garnish it like this. 3 o'clock. Perfect. We all had our alarms on for the kids. That's funny. Okay. Now, I'll do the sour cream. Oops. Not bad, bro. We're gonna say he kicked my wall, okay? oh my. Right? Everybody? Does anybody say yes? Okay. So again, my favorite's the Tillamook sour cream. Not the non-fat. Anybody? I like the regular one. So you put that sour cream on top. Your little cheese. You can pre-pull it apart if you like. I'm not gonna. I can just do it with my fingers right now. And then for the people that are brave, like my husband or Rachel, you brave? Okay.
No,
I'm not
I'm
gonna
white.
put so this is a hot sauce that we made, the spicy pepper. And put that on top. You guys enjoy. Have a good dinner. I hope you guys have fun making them. I hope you guys had fun with me today. And see you guys next Friday. Shoot me a message. Let me know if you liked it. And let me know what you guys want to do next Friday, okay? Thank you. Bye.